The Moncton market feels slow right now. More listing, longer days on market, even some price drops. So why aren't prices actually crashing? I've seen the comments. It's going to crash. Just wait it out. The bubble is bursting. And I get it. It feels like prices should be falling. But there's a quiet bottleneck that most people don't see. And until you understand it, none of the other numbers really make sense. Here's what I mean. Greater Moncton added 51,000 people in the last 9 years. We built maybe 6,000 homes. And yes, that does include rentals. So that math, it doesn't work. And that's why prices aren't crashing, even though national news reports in some markets are reporting major price drops. Look, I get it. The market has cooled off since the 2021 and 2022 frenzy. Back then, homes were selling in hours. Multiple offers were very common. And looking back, it was chaos. Now, things feel different. Homes do spend some time on market, buyers do have time to think, and some sellers are even reducing their price. And some water cooler talk might even have you think that this is a buyer's market. But here's the thing. The fundamentals say otherwise. There's a quiet bottleneck that most people don't see, and it's the reason that prices have been holding, even when the market might feel soft looking from the outside in. Population growth versus housing capacity. More people coming in than homes are actually being built. Year after year, compounding. And yes, I will show you the numbers as we move on. But first, I want to tell you why this matters to me personally. I moved to Moncton years ago for 2 reasons: family and affordable homeownership. We saw what was possible here when other markets were really out of reach. Toronto, Hamilton, and even Ottawa at the time, they were all pulling away. But Moncton, there was still a path to actually owning a home, building a life, and putting down roots. That's why I pay attention to these numbers, because I want others to have the same opportunity that I had. So let's start with the demand side. Who is actually coming to Moncton? In 2016, Greater Moncton had a population of about 144,800 people. By 2021, we had grown to about 157,700. That's a solid 9% increase in just 5 years. But then something happened. By 2025, we were 196,143 people. That's 51,000 new people in 9 years, a 35% increase. Moncton has been a top 3 fastest growing metro in Canada for 4 years running, not per capita, total growth. And that's not a blip, that's a trend. Now, where are all of these people coming from? During the pandemic, yes, a lot of people were coming from Ontario via interprovincial migration. People from BC and Ontario looking for affordable housing and possibilities to work remotely. From 2021 to 2024, New Brunswick gained a net 17,900 people from other provinces. But here's something important. That wave has slowed. In Q1 2025, New Brunswick actually lost 101 people to other provinces. The Ontario migration wave, well, it seemed to slow from a trickle. So where is this growth coming from now? Immigration. Over 90% of Moncton's population growth is now coming from international migration, not people moving from Ontario. Not a baby boom. Natural population growth is actually flat or even negative. Immigration is now the new engine. In 2019, Moncton received about 2,600 permanent residents. In 2025, 6,895. That is a 260% increase in just 5 years. Where did these people come from? Well, the top countries were India, Nigeria, Brazil, and Morocco. And here's something encouraging. Retention is improving. 5 years ago, about 47% of newcomers stayed long-term. Now, that number is 58%. More people are putting down roots here. You might have heard about federal immigration cuts, and yes, those are real. But here's the thing. New Brunswick actually negotiated for more provincial nominee spots. The pipeline is built. The community networks are established. This faucet isn't something that you can just turn off overnight. In my own business, I still see out-of-province buyers, but the mix certainly has shifted. More newcomers to Canada, more people drawn by affordability and quality of life. The reasons people come here? Same reasons I came. Family, community, and being able to actually afford a home. Now, let's talk about something that is coming. And if you've driven on Wheeler Boulevard, you've probably seen the construction. It's the Atlantic Science Enterprise Center, a $600 million federal investment right here in Moncton. 5 federal agencies. It's the Department of Fisheries and Oceans, Environment Canada, National Research Council, Food Canada Inspection Agency, and the Canadian Space Agency. And the projected opening is 2032. Now, it is being reported that there could be up to 700 permanent positions, which is more than double than the current positions at that site. Now, here's where I want to be honest with you. 700 jobs does not automatically mean 700 new households competing for housing. So I'll break this down as best as I can. First, there is always local hires versus relocations. Some of these positions could be filled by people that are already living here, like UNB or U to M grads or local colleges. They produce graduates in these fields all the time. And obviously, there are existing government employees that might want to transfer internally. So my estimate is maybe 40 to 60% could actually be relocations. That's 280 to 420 new households. Household size matters. The average Canadian household has 2.5 people. Some hires will be couples, dual income, one household. Some will be single professionals. Some will bring families. 700 workers across households is more like 300 to 500 new households over the full hiring period from 2028 to 2032. Third, not everyone buys a house. Oftentimes, people will rent before they buy. They'll explore the ideal area for maybe 6 to 12 months, and then they'll actually start the buying process once they understand the neighborhood, the flow of their schedule, and all of those good things that come with moving to a new place. Also, younger hires might stay in the rental market for more years. So my estimate is that 60 to 70% are eventual buyers, where 30 to 40% are long-term renters. That's about 180 to 350 new buyers over that 4 to 5 year period. So is ASEC going to single-handedly drive up prices? No. But 200 to 400 new households, many with stable federal incomes entering a market that's already short on supply, that matters. It's not a tsunami, but it could be a steady wave, and it's layered on top of everything else that we've talked about. Construction is now underway, hiring ramps up, 2028 through 2032. This is demand that's actually coming. It's not speculation. This is one major project out of a few that have been named for our area. So Moncton is growing. Okay, so now that we've covered demand, what about supply? How much are we actually building? 2022, we had $366 million in building permits, which from a report that I read equates to about 285 units. In 2024, we saw $270 million of permits, which could be around 287 units. 2025, we're on pace for 395 million plus. That could bring up to 1,300 units. And those are record numbers. We are building more than ever, and we're still falling behind. So let me show you the math, the best that I could separate it from what I could find published online. In 2025, roughly 6,000 new people coming to Moncton. We'll divide that number by 2.5 people per household. That's about 2,400 new households. 2025, about 1,300 new housing units built. The gap, that's roughly 1,100 households short. And this is just 1 year, and every year that gap compounds. Now here's some nuance. Not every household is actually a buyer. As I mentioned before, newcomers or people that are arriving in the area for the first time, they might rent for 1 to 3 years. Students or temporary workers, well, they could have housing provided for them. And in some cases, there could be many people inside of one housing unit, so multiple households inside of one house, if that makes sense. So when the rental market is that tight, the pressure flows into the ownership market. People buy sooner than planned because they might not have the ideal rental available to them. That could be price or location or even format. So let me show you what I mean. In 2019, vacancy rate was about 3%, and that's considered healthy and normal. In 2023, the reported vacancy in Greater Moncton was 0.8%. 0.8% isn't tight, it's gasping for air. And 2025 reported somewhere in October, we're sitting somewhere around 2.8 to 3.9% vacancy. That's a little bit better, but we're still climbing out of a very deep hole. Most of what is being built right now, well, from what I could find, 55 to 67% is actually multifamily apartments for rent. So that certainly helps rentals, but ownership supply, it is still constrained. Okay, so where does this leave us? This is just for fun, but the population projection based on trending data for 2030 is 220,000 to 230,000 people. The housing that we could need to keep up with this is 10,000 to 15,000 more units. Current construction pace is only giving us about 6 to 7,000 over 5 years. We are still falling short between 3,000 and 8,000 units based on the math that I did from the information that I could find online. So the ASEC wave and other projects, 300 to 500 new households, not 700, phased in over 2028 to 2032, is a mix of renters and buyers layered on top of already existing immigration demand. So again, not a tsunami, but steady pressure. So I'll give you 3 scenarios for fun. Scenario 1 is federal immigration cuts continue, so immigration could slow, which the growth drops to 1 to 2%. Supply catches up a little bit faster and the market could stay more balanced when it comes to price. Scenario 2 is the cuts actually reverse and growth rebounds to 4 to 5%. The shortage would definitely intensify and prices could accelerate again. And scenario 3 is a steady state, 2 to 3% growth, kind of normal. You have gradual improvement over 5 to 10 years. My honest view is that we're probably somewhere between scenario 2 and scenario 3, which is what we've been seeing over the last year. So what does this mean for buyers? For buyers waiting for a crash, you're betting against structural fundamentals. 2, the bottleneck creates a floor under prices. Not a guarantee that they'll go up, but a floor against a potential complete collapse. 3, the market might feel slow, but slow doesn't mean oversupplied. 4, ASEC hiring from 2028 onward, it could add steady pressure. Not a spike, but sustained pressure. So if you're a seller, don't panic about a market that might feel slower. The fundamentals still remain strong. You'll want to price realistically. You've heard me say it in almost every video I've done over the last couple of months, but you don't want to give it away. You'll want to review the market data with your realtor and build out a plan that includes timing, marketing, and a range of price options. If you have that conversation now, it will greatly reduce the stress and will help you build out your plan. For everyone else, this is not doom and gloom, and it's certainly not hype. It's understanding the big picture. Moncton is still one of the most affordable markets in all of Canada. The fundamentals point to continued but measured growth. I moved here for family and affordable homeownership, and these things still exist here, but the window looks different than it did when I arrived. Understand these numbers. It will help you make a decision that's right for you, not based on fear, not based on hype, based on what's actually happening. 51,000 people, about 6,000 homes, and a $600 million science center bringing new households. The bottleneck is real. And supply takes years to build, and demand, it keeps coming. But there's opportunity here if you understand what you're looking at. If you're thinking about the Moncton market, whether you're here already or considering a move, I'd love to help you make sense of it. There's a link in the description to book a call with me when the time is right for you. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.